The alarm rang deep underground. It had been silent for 670,000 years. Director Tae-ho opened his eyes slowly. The sleeping chamber around him hummed with soft blue light as systems came back to life. He sat up on the medical table and looked around. Thousands of other chambers were opening too. People were waking up all over the underground city. Tae-ho stepped onto the cold metal floor. His body felt strange after so long a sleep, but the machines had kept him healthy. He walked to the main control room where other leaders were gathering. The wall showed maps of Earth's surface. Everything had changed. The oceans were different. The land was different. But their underground cities were still there, hidden deep below. "How long?" asked Dr. So Young as she joined them. Her white coat was clean and new, just like the day she went to sleep. 870,000 years since humans first walked on Earth, Tae-ho said, reading the displays. 670,000 years since we went underground. The other leaders nodded. They remembered the plan. Long ago, humans had become very advanced. They could do things that seemed like magic. But they saw that other alien races were starting to grow in space. If humans stayed on the surface, the aliens would never learn to be strong on their own. So humans decided to hide and let the aliens think they were dead. "Sir, we have visitors," said Commander Ji-woo, running into the room. She pointed at the screens showing space above Earth. Strange ships were floating there. They looked like tall crystals with lights inside. "The Veltar," said So Young, looking at the alien ships. "One of the 12 races in the Galactic Federation. I studied them before we went to sleep. The crystal ships sent a message down to Earth. The aliens were confused. Their computers said Earth was a dead world. But now they were seeing signs of life. They wanted to know what was happening." Tae-ho smiled. "Time to say hello." Dr. So Young put on her spacesuit and took a small ship to the surface. The Veltar captain was waiting for her. He was 10 feet tall and looked like a walking diamond. His name was Velcris. "Impossible," Velcris said through his translator. "Humans died 200,000 years ago. Our records are very clear." "Your records are wrong," So Young said kindly. "We never died. We just went away for a while." Velcris called his ship. More crystal beings appeared on the screen. They were all talking very fast in their own language. So Young could understand them perfectly. Humans had learned all alien languages long ago. "But you were primitive," said another Veltar named Velnina. "You barely had spaceships. You knew nothing about the galaxy." So Young laughed softly. "We let you think that. It was easier that way." The Veltar did not understand. They sent a message to their Federation leaders. Within hours, more ships came to Earth. Big warships with terrible weapons. The aliens were scared. If humans were alive, what else were they wrong about? Commander Ji-woo watched the alien ships from her control room deep underground. There were 50 ships now, all pointing their guns at Earth. She shook her head. The aliens still thought like children. "Should we show them?" asked her assistant, Lieutenant Yu-jin. "Just a little," Ji-woo said. She touched a button on her control panel. A beam of light came from somewhere on Earth's surface. It was not bright, but when it touched the alien warships, their weapons stopped working. All 50 ships were suddenly helpless. "What did you do?" Velcris asked So Young, his diamond body shaking with fear. "We asked your guns to take a rest," So Young said. "Don't worry, we didn't hurt anyone." The Veltar had never seen technology like this. Their best weapons were useless against whatever the humans had done. But the humans had been so gentle about it. No one was hurt. No ships were damaged. The weapons were just sleeping. "How?" Velnina whispered. "We had a long time to learn new things," So Young explained. 670,000 years is enough time to figure out a lot of problems. Back underground, Tae-ho was meeting with his council. The human cities stretched for thousands of miles beneath every continent. Millions of people were waking up. The great machines that had kept them alive were shutting down. The long sleep was over. "The aliens ruled 12 star systems," said Dr. So Young when she returned. They call themselves the Galactic Federation. They think they are very powerful. Are they? Asked Taeho. Compared to what they used to be, yes, So Young said. Compared to us, they are still learning to walk. Engineer Do Hyun pulled up displays showing alien technology. Human computers had been watching the Federation for hundreds of thousands of years. They knew everything about alien science, alien culture, alien history. The aliens knew nothing about current human abilities. They use nuclear fusion for power, Do Hyun laughed. They still think faster-than-light travel is impossible without special gates. They use metal and plastic to build their ships. The humans in the room smiled. They had moved far beyond such simple tools long ago. Matter was just energy arranged, in different patterns. Time was something you could stretch or squeeze. Space was something you could fold or twist. These were basic things that human children learned in school before the long sleep began. Sir, Commander Jiwoo said, the Federation is sending their best diplomatic ship. They want to talk. Good, said Taeho. Let's be polite. Send Ambassador Haejin to meet them. Haejin had been one of their best diplomats before the sleep. She understood how to talk to aliens without scaring them too much. Her ship rose from the hidden launch bays beneath Earth's surface. To human eyes, it was a simple transport. To the aliens watching, it was impossible. The ship seemed to be made of light itself. It moved without engines. It appeared and disappeared, like a ghost. When it arrived at the Federation diplomatic vessel, it passed right through the alien ship's shields as if they were not there. Welcome to Earth space, Haejin said to the Federation diplomats. We are happy to meet you properly. The alien captain, a creature that looked like a giant purple squid, could barely speak. How are you doing this? Science, Haejin said simply. Would you like to see our planet? She took them down to Earth's surface, but not to the underground cities. Instead, she showed them carefully prepared areas that looked like the ruins the aliens expected to see. Ancient buildings that seemed to match Federation records of primitive human civilization. But these are ruins, said the squid captain. Where do you live now? Here and there, Haejin said mysteriously. The Federation team took samples and pictures. Everything seemed to match their historical records. Humans had indeed been primitive long ago, but somehow they had survived and grown. The question was, how much had they grown? As the alien diplomats prepared to leave, Velkris asked, the question that was bothering all of them. What do you want from the galaxy? Haejin looked up at the stars. The same thing we always wanted, to learn, to grow, to see what comes next. And what about us? You are part of what comes next, she said with a kind smile. The Federation ships left Earth's orbit, but they would be back soon. The galaxy's leaders needed to decide what to do about humanity. The species they thought was extinct was not only alive, but seemed to have technology that made Federation science look like stone tools. Deep underground, humans were waking up by the millions. The long sleep was over. It was time to see what the galaxy had become while they dreamed. The news traveled fast across the galaxy. Within 3 days, every world in the Federation knew the impossible truth. Humans were alive. Not only alive, but they had technology that made Federation weapons look like toys. On Nexus Prime, the capital, world of the Federation, emergency meetings ran day and night. The Great Council chamber filled with representatives from all 12 member species. Supreme Counselor Velthara, a tall crystalline being, stood at the center of the room. Her diamond body glowed with stress patterns. Order, she called out as different aliens argued in their various languages. We must stay calm and think clearly. Admiral Korth slammed his massive fist on the table. The Bracton warrior stood 8 feet tall and was covered in thick armor-like skin. His red eyes burned with anger. Calm, he roared. These humans made our entire battle fleet helpless with one small beam of light. We should attack them now before they get stronger. Stronger? Laughed Dr. Zixmora, a small blue creature with tentacles for arms. Admiral, did you see what their ship did? passed through solid matter like it was air. Our best scientists cannot even explain how that is possible. The room erupted into arguments again. Some wanted to fight, others wanted to run. A few suggested trying to make friends with the humans. But they all shared the same fear. The Federation had ruled the galaxy for 400,000 years. They had the biggest ships, the best weapons, the most advanced technology. Now they felt like children playing with sticks. "What do we actually know about them?" asked Counselor Thexnall, a wise old being that looked like a walking tree. Her species, the Drentar, were known for their careful thinking. Velthara activated the holographic display in the center of the room. According to our historical records, humans were a young species that barely reached their own moon before going extinct around 200,000 years ago. They fought wars with simple weapons, used primitive energy sources, and never developed. Faster than light travel. "But those records are clearly wrong," said Dr. Zixmora. "The question is, how wrong?" Before anyone could answer, the chamber's communication system activated. "Supreme Counselor, we have an urgent message from the human government. They wish to send an ambassador." The room went silent. Everyone stared at the communication console. "Tell them." Velthara started, then stopped. What could she say? "Tell them we accept their ambassador." 2 hours later, something impossible happened in the space above Nexus Prime. A ship appeared from nowhere. Not from hyperspace, not from behind, a moon or planet. It simply materialized in empty space as if someone had drawn it into existence. The ship was beautiful and terrible at the same time. It seemed to be made of liquid starlight that constantly shifted and flowed. Sometimes it looked solid, sometimes it looked like a ghost. The Federation's best sensors could not figure out what it was made of. Ambassador Heijin's voice came through the communication system, calm and friendly. "Hello, Federation Council. Thank you for agreeing to meet with us. May I come aboard your station?" "How did you get here so fast?" Velthara asked. Earth was 50,000 light-years away. Even the fastest Federation ships took weeks to make that journey. "We have good transportation," Heijin said with a small laugh in her voice. The human ambassador appeared in the council chamber without using any doors. One moment the space was empty. The next moment, she was standing there, smiling, politely. She looked like a normal human woman, dressed in simple clothes that seemed to shimmer with their own light. "Greetings, leaders of the Federation," Heijin said, bowing respectfully. "I bring peaceful wishes from all humanity." Admiral Korth pointed his weapon at her. "What kind of trick is this? How did you get in here?" Heijin looked at the weapon, with curiosity. "That's a plasma rifle Mark 7, manufactured on Bragton Prime about 50 years ago. It can fire superheated gas at nearly the speed of light. Very impressive for your technology level." "My technology level?" Korth growled. "Admiral," Heijin said gently, "your weapon is pointing at me, but it is not loaded with plasma anymore." Korth looked at his rifle. The energy readings showed 0. The weapon was completely empty, though he had not fired it. "Where did the plasma go?" he asked, confused and angry. "I asked it to become something more useful," Heijin said. She gestured, and beautiful flowers appeared in the air around the chamber. Each flower glowed softly with the same energy that had been in the weapon. "Your plasma is now light and beauty instead of destruction." The Federation leaders stared at the floating flowers. They could feel the energy in them. It was exactly the same energy that had been in the Admiral's weapon, but completely transformed. "How?" whispered Dr. Zixmora. "Science," Heijin said simply. "We learned that matter and energy can be changed into whatever forms are most helpful." Counselor Thexnall leaned forward. "Ambassador, our records show that humans were extinct. Can you explain what really happened?" Heijin nodded. "Of course. Around 200,000 years ago, my people realized something important. We were becoming very advanced very quickly, but we saw that other species were just starting to grow and explore space. If we stayed visible, you might depend on us instead of learning to be strong yourselves." "So you hid," Velthara said. "We went underground and let the galaxy think we were gone," Heijin confirmed. We have been watching and learning ever since. You have all grown so much. The Federation is impressive. 12 different species working together, exploring hundreds of worlds, developing new technologies. We are very proud of what you have accomplished. Admiral Korth was still angry. If you were watching us, then you know our military strength. We have millions of ships, weapons that can destroy planets, armies that have conquered entire star systems. Yes, we know, Heijin said kindly. And it is wonderful that you learned to build such things. Every species needs to develop its own strength and courage. Are you mocking us? Korth demanded. Not at all, Heijin said. You achieved great things with the tools you had. But now perhaps it is time to learn about better tools. She gestured again. Suddenly, holographic displays appeared throughout the chamber, showing detailed information about Federation technology. But the displays showed much more than the Federation's own scientists knew. They showed how every machine worked, how every weapon functioned, how every star drive operated. They also showed how each device could be improved. Your fusion reactors are very clever, Heijin said, pointing to one display, but they waste 97% of their energy. Would you like to know how to make them more efficient? Dr. Zixamora's tentacles waved excitedly. You can improve our reactors? We can help you improve them yourselves, Heijin corrected. That way you learn how to do it. Another human voice came through the communication system. This was Engineer Do-hyun speaking from Earth. Federation scientists, we have been studying your technology for a very long time. You have made excellent progress, but there are some simple improvements that might interest you. The displays changed, showing new designs for Federation equipment. The improvements were amazing. Ships that could travel 10 times faster. Weapons that used 1/10 the energy. Power systems that could run forever without fuel. But these designs are impossible, said Dr. Zixamora. They break the laws of physics as we understand them. Your understanding of physics is incomplete, Do-hyun said gently. That is not your fault. You have been working with limited information. We can help you learn more. Supreme Counselor Velthara felt her crystalline body growing cold with fear. How long have you been watching us? Since the day your first species invented the wheel, Heijin said. We have records of every major achievement in Federation history. We watched you discover fire, build cities, reach for the stars, meet each other, and form your alliance. Every step has been remarkable. You have been watching us for our entire history, Velthara whispered. Yes, Heijin said, and we have been very impressed. You survived wars, plagues, natural disasters, and the challenges of working with other species. You built something beautiful together. The Federation leaders looked at each other with growing terror. Everything they had ever done, every secret plan, every military strategy, every technological breakthrough had been observed by beings with technology so advanced it seemed like magic. What do you want from us? Asked Counselor Thexnal. Heijin smiled warmly. We want to be friends. We want to help you grow even stronger than you are now. We want to explore the galaxy together and see what wonders we can discover. And if we refuse? Admiral Korth asked. Then we will respect your choice and leave you alone, Heijin said. But we hope you will think about it. The galaxy is very large, and there are many amazing things to discover. It would be more fun to explore together. The human ambassador began to fade away like a ghost. I will return tomorrow for your answer. Please take time to discuss this among yourselves, and do not worry, we mean you no harm. She disappeared, leaving only the glowing flowers floating in the air. The Federation leaders sat in stunned silence. They had thought they were the masters of the galaxy. Now they realized they had been children playing in a sandbox while adults watched from nearby, making sure they did not hurt themselves. The question now was, what should they do about it? The Federation Council met for 18 straight hours. Some wanted to fight, others wanted to surrender, and a few wanted to pretend the humans did not exist. But they all knew they needed answers. Historian Kyung-soo arrived the next day in a ship that looked like a flying library. Books and scrolls floated around it in neat patterns, but when the Federation sensors tried to scan them, the books showed information that changed based on who was looking. I brought some of our history books, Kyung-soo said as he materialized in the council chamber. He was an older human with kind eyes and gray hair. I thought you might want to understand what really happened to my people. Supreme Counselor Velthara tried to stay calm, but her crystalline body kept flashing with nervous colors. Please, tell us the truth. Kyung-soo waved his hand. The air in the chamber filled with moving pictures that showed the real history of humanity. The Federation leaders watched in amazement as the story unfolded. 200,000 years ago, humans achieved what you might call a breakthrough, Kyung-soo began. We learned how to control matter and energy at the smallest levels. We could turn rocks into gold, create food from air, and build machines that built themselves. The pictures showed humans doing impossible things. They moved mountains with their minds, traveled between stars without ships, and created new forms of life just by thinking about them. But we had a problem, Kyung-soo continued. We could see that other species were just beginning to explore space. The Veltar had just invented their first star engines. The Bracton were learning to work metal. The Drentar were discovering mathematics. You were watching us even then? Asked Counselor Thexanol. We were watching everyone, Kyung-soo said with a smile. And we realized something important. If you saw us using our advanced technology, you might try to copy us instead of developing your own ideas. Or you might become afraid and never leave your home worlds. The pictures changed, showing the great human cities that once covered Earth's surface. They were beautiful beyond imagination, with towers that reached into space and gardens that grew in midair. So we made a decision, Kyung-soo said. We would hide until you were ready to meet us as equals. Equals. Admiral Korth laughed bitterly. You can change matter with your thoughts and we still use metal ships. How are we equals? Because you learned to do everything yourselves, Kyung-soo said. Every tool you built, every idea you discovered, every problem you solved came from your own minds and hands. That makes you strong in ways that copying someone else's work never could. Dr. Zixmora's tentacles waved with excitement. You really faked your own extinction? It was quite a project, Kyung-soo admitted. We had to make it look convincing. We left behind ruins that matched what you would expect from a young species. We created fake historical records. We even set up false archaeological sites for you to discover. The pictures showed humans carefully placing ancient-looking artifacts in the ground, programming them to decay at the right rate to fool future archaeologists. Every human relic you found, every piece of primitive human technology in your museums, we made specifically for you to find, Kyung-soo explained. We wanted your scientists to have a complete picture of what early humanity looked like. Velthara felt weak. Our entire understanding of galactic history is based on lies, not lies, Kyung-soo said gently. Kindness. We showed you what you needed to see so you could grow strong without fear. Suddenly, alarms began ringing throughout the Federation capital. Admiral Korth activated his communication device. What is happening? Sir, we have a massive Federation battle fleet approaching the Sol system, came the panicked voice of a communications officer. Fleet Admiral Zekamura is leading 10,000 ships to Earth. Kyung-soo sighed sadly. Oh dear. Your military decided to test human defenses. That was not wise. 10,000 ships. Admiral Korth stood up proudly. Even with your advanced technology, surely you cannot face our entire battle fleet. Would you like to watch? Kyung-soo asked. The air in the chamber filled with images from space around Earth. The Federation leaders could see their mighty battle fleet approaching. 10,000 warships, each one larger than a city, armed with weapons that could destroy planets. It was the most powerful military force in galactic history. Impressive, Kyung-soo said, studying the fleet. Your engineers have done excellent work. Those ships represent the combined knowledge of 12 different species working together. They represent the power to end this threat, Admiral Korth said grimly. A new human voice came through the communication system. This was Captain Insu of the Human Stellar Defense. Hello, Federation Fleet. This is Earth Defense Command. You seem to be approaching our world with weapons active. Is there something we can help you with? Fleet Admiral Zekmora's voice responded, full of confidence. Human ship, you will surrender immediately or face the consequences. You cannot stand against the combined might of the Federation. I see, Captain Insu said calmly. Well, we certainly do not want any trouble. But I am afraid we cannot surrender our homeworld. Perhaps we can reach an understanding. The time for talking is over, Zekmora declared. All ships, begin the attack. 10,000 Federation warships fired at once. The space around Earth lit up with enough energy to cook a planet. Plasma beams, quantum torpedoes, gravity bombs, and reality disruption weapons all struck toward the small blue world. But the weapons never reached their target. Instead, something beautiful happened. The deadly energy beams became streams of colored light that danced around Earth like a rainbow. The explosive torpedoes turned into harmless fireworks that painted pretty patterns in space. The gravity bombs became gentle forces that nudged asteroids into more attractive orbits. "What did you do to our weapons?" Zekmora shouted. "We asked them nicely to do something more useful," Captain Insu replied. "Your energy is now helping us redecorate the solar system. Do you like the colors? We chose them to match your different species' preferences." In the Federation Council chamber, the leaders watched in stunned silence as their ultimate military force was treated like a fireworks show. "Impossible," whispered Dr. Zixmora. "Not impossible," said Kyungsu. "Just different. Your weapons work by destroying things. Our technology works by improving things. When your destructive energy meets our improvement fields, it becomes creative energy instead." The space battle continued, but it was not really a battle. Every Federation weapon was transformed the moment it was fired. Planet-killer bombs became orbital gardens. Star-destroying missiles became tools that repaired damaged suns. Reality-warping devices were corrected and improved before being sent back to their ships as gifts. "Sir," came a frightened voice from the Federation fleet. "Our weapons are being returned to us, but they have been upgraded." Captain Insu's voice remained cheerful. "We noticed some inefficiencies in your designs, so we fixed them. Your plasma cannons will now use 90% less power while producing much better results. Your shields will protect you from dangers you did not even know existed. Consider it a welcome gift." General Minho's voice joined the conversation. He was speaking from somewhere on Earth's surface. "Federation fleet, what you have just witnessed represents approximately 0.003% of Earth's current defensive capability. The officer handling your attack is Lieutenant Yujin, and this exercise is her final exam from our Naval Academy." The Federation leaders in the council chamber looked at each other with growing horror. "A student?" Admiral Korth whispered. "A very good student," Kyungsu said proudly. "She will graduate with honors." Lieutenant Yujin's young voice came through the communication system. "Thank you, General Minho. Federation fleet, please do not feel embarrassed. Your attack was well coordinated and used excellent tactics. In a fight against any other species in the galaxy, you would have won easily." Fleet Admiral Zekmora's voice shook with defeat. What are you people?" "We are humans," Captain Insu said simply. "We are your neighbors in this galaxy. We have been waiting a very long time to meet you properly." The space around Earth began to change. The Federation fleet found themselves surrounded by structures that seemed to grow out of nothing. Beautiful space stations appeared, offering food, fuel, and medical care to the alien crews. Gardens bloomed in the vacuum of space. Artificial suns provided warm light. "Your journey here was long," General Minho said kindly. "Please rest and recover. We have prepared comfortable places for all of your crew members. Each environment matches your species' homeworlds." Anthropologist Yunji's voice added, "We are very excited to meet so many different people from across the galaxy. We have been studying your cultures for hundreds of thousands of years, but we have never had a chance to speak with you directly." In the council chamber, Kyungsu looked at the Federation leaders with sympathy. "I know this is difficult to understand. You thought you were the strongest force in the galaxy, Now you discover that you have been living under the protection of guardians you did not know existed. Protection? Velthara asked weakly. Did you think it was luck that kept dangerous cosmic events away from Federation worlds? Kyungsu asked. Did you wonder why hostile alien invasions from other galaxies never succeeded? Did you notice that every time your species faced extinction level? The Federation emergency session had been running for 6 days straight. Representatives from all 12 species argued, planned, and panicked in equal measure. The Great Council chamber on Nexus Prime had become a fortress of fear and desperate thinking. Supreme Counselor Velthara stood at the center of the chaos, her crystalline body flashing with stress patterns. Order! We must have order! The room slowly quieted, but the tension remained thick. Admiral Korth paced back and forth like a caged animal, his heavy footsteps shaking the floor. Dr. Zixmora's tentacles writhed nervously as she studied tactical displays. Counselor Thexnall's bark-like skin had turned dark with worry. The situation is clear, said Supreme War Coordinator Thexnall, a massive creature from the war-loving Keftar species. His forearms gestured at holographic maps showing human territory. Humanity is not just advanced. They are so far beyond us that our technology looks like stone tools to them. But they are still biological, argued Dr. Rinta, the chief scientist of the insect-like Zarneth species. They still need food, air, and shelter. They can still make mistakes. They are not gods. Admiral Korth slammed his fist on the table again. Did you see what their student did to our battle fleet? 10,000 ships defeated by someone taking a school test. Exactly my point, Dr. Rinta clicked excitedly. It was just one person. One human stopped our entire fleet. That means their population must be small, or they would have sent armies instead of individuals. The room buzzed with new interest. Maybe the insects had found something important. Think about it logically, Dr. Rinta continued. They hid underground for 670,000 years. How many could have survived? A few million, at most. Maybe only thousands. They use incredibly advanced technology, but they must have very few people. Supreme War Coordinator. Thexnall's eyes glowed with possibility. Small numbers explain their strategy. They use overwhelming individual power because they cannot field large armies. But their power, whispered Dr. Zixmora. We saw them change matter with thoughts, move through solid objects, transform our weapons into art. Tricks, said Dr. Rinta firmly. Very advanced tricks, but still tricks. Every technology has limits. Every system has weaknesses. We just need to find theirs. Velthara felt a spark of hope for the first time in days. What are you proposing? Dr. Rinta activated new displays showing human behavior patterns. Look at how they fight. They do not destroy. They convert weapons into harmless things. They create beauty instead of using violence. They offer help instead of making threats. Weakness, Admiral Korth growled approvingly. Exactly, Dr. Rinta agreed. 600,000 years of hiding have made them soft. They forgot how to wage real war. They think everything can be solved with kindness and pretty lights. The mood in the chamber began to shift. Fear was being replaced by hope, and hope was growing into determination. Supreme War Coordinator Thexnall stood up to his full 12-foot height. If they are few in number and soft in spirit, then we have a chance. But we cannot make the same mistake as Admiral Zixmora's fleet. We cannot attack them directly where they expect us. What do you suggest? Asked Velthara. Total war, Thexnall said simply. Not just against Earth, but against everything they might care about. We attack every inhabited world in the galaxy simultaneously. We threaten billions of innocent lives. Even if humans can protect themselves, they cannot protect everyone. The chamber erupted in excited chatter. It was brutal, but it might work. Humans seemed to care about other species. If the Federation threatened to destroy all galactic civilization, maybe humans would surrender to save lives. We would need every ship in the galaxy, Admiral Korth said, his tactical mind already working on the problem. Every weapon, every soldier, every resource from all 12 species. Then we shall have them, Thexnall declared. I am assuming supreme command of all Federation military forces. This is no longer about territory or politics. This is about survival. For the first time in Federation history, all 12 species agreed completely. Within hours, orders went out across the galaxy. Every ship that could fly, every weapon that could fire, every soldier that could fight was called to service. The mobilization was incredible. 50 million warships gathered from across the galaxy. Planet-killing weapons that had been stored in secret vaults were brought back into service. Reality-warping devices stolen from extinct civilizations were prepared for use. Stellar demolition, equipment designed to destroy suns, was loaded onto massive carriers. War Marshal Rakathul coordinated the assault from a safe position in the Andromeda Galaxy, using quantum communicators to stay in touch with his forces. He was a careful military mind who believed in overwhelming force and backup plans. Remember, he told his commanders, humans can defend one world very well, but they cannot defend every world at once. We will attack 10,000 inhabited planets simultaneously. Every major population center, every space station, every colony in Federation space will be under threat at the same time. The plan was simple but devastating. When humans tried to stop the attack on one world, Federation forces would destroy 3 others. Eventually, even human technology would be stretched too thin. They would have to choose between saving some populations and letting others die. And if they surrender, asked one commander, then we accept their surrender and keep them under constant guard, Rakthul replied. We cannot afford to let them remain free. They are too dangerous. Every Federation citizen watched the broadcasts as their mighty fleet prepared for the final battle. Children were evacuated from border worlds. Prayers were said in a dozen different languages. Everyone understood that this was the moment that would decide the future of the galaxy. The human response came from Fleet Commander Sang-wook, speaking from somewhere near Earth. His voice was calm but sad. Federation forces, we are disappointed that you have chosen violence. We hoped we could be friends. Friendship with kidnappers and liars is impossible, War Marshal Rakthul replied. You deceived us for hundreds of thousands of years. Now you will face the consequences. We understand your anger, Sang-wook said. But threatening innocent populations will not help anyone. Please reconsider this plan. The time for talk is over, Rakthul declared. All forces begin the attack. 50 million Federation warships opened fire at once. The attack was spread across the entire galaxy. Every inhabited world was under assault simultaneously. It was the largest military operation in galactic history, designed to overwhelm even impossible human defenses. But the attack never succeeded. Lieutenant Yu-jin, the same student who had handled the previous Federation fleet, spoke calmly through the communication system. Federation forces, we appreciate the coordination required for such a large operation. Your logistics are very impressive. Impossible, Rakthul shouted. You cannot be everywhere at once. Actually, we can, Yu-jin replied cheerfully. Commander Sang-wook gave me this assignment because I needed practice with large-scale defensive operations. This will be good experience. What happened next broke the Federation's understanding of reality itself. Every Federation weapon fired, at the same moment across the galaxy. But none of the shots reached their targets. Instead, they were caught in selective gravity fields that held them motionless in space, like insects in amber. 50 million ships found themselves unable to move or fight. How? Whispered Dr. Rinta from the council chamber where the leaders were watching in horror. Lieutenant Yu-jin's voice answered as if she had heard the question. We learned long ago that space and time are connected. When you understand that connection, distance becomes meaningless. I am defending all these worlds from my station on Earth, but I am also present at each battle simultaneously. The Federation leaders watched their screens in stunned silence as impossible things happened across the galaxy. Their planet-killing weapons were converted into terraforming tools that made dead worlds habitable. Their reality-warping devices were improved and turned into educational toys for alien children. Their stellar demolition equipment was transformed into star repair systems that fixed damaged suns. Your superweapons had some interesting design ideas. Yu-jin continued conversationally. We improved them and sent them back. Your planet crackers can now create planets instead of destroying them. Your star killers can now heal dying stars. You might find these tools useful for helping your people instead of hurting others. War Marshal Rakthul stared at his displays in disbelief. His ultimate weapon, a device that could destabilize entire solar systems, had been turned into a system for creating new habitable worlds. It was now peacefully building beautiful garden planets in empty space. "What are you?" he whispered. "We are the people who have been protecting your galaxy for hundreds of thousands of years," came a new voice. This was General Minho, speaking with gentle authority. "We are the ones who have been quietly solving problems you did not know existed. We are your neighbors, and we want to remain your friends." "Friends do not lie for hundreds of millennia," Rakthul said bitterly. "Parents do," Minho replied. "When children are not ready for dangerous truths, loving parents wait until the children are strong enough to handle them. We have been waiting for you to grow strong enough to meet us as equals." The silence in the Federation Council chamber lasted for 3 hours. 12 different species sat together, sharing the same crushing realization. They had tried everything. Their best weapons, their smartest strategies, their most desperate plans. All had failed against what humans considered student exercises. Supreme Counselor Velthara finally spoke. Her crystalline voice cracked with exhaustion. "We surrender." But the response that came was not what they expected. Premier Wu Jin's voice filled the chamber, warm and kind. "There is no need to surrender, friends. You have done nothing wrong. You were protecting your people and your civilization. That takes courage." "Courage?" Admiral Korth laughed bitterly. "We attacked you with everything we had, and your children stopped us like it was a game." "Not a game," Premier Wu Jin corrected gently. "A learning experience. For both of us. We learned how much you have grown as a civilization. You learned that there are still new things to discover in this galaxy." Ambassador He Jin appeared in the chamber again, materializing like morning light. But this time she was not alone. A dozen other humans stood with her, each one representing a different aspect of human civilization. "We want to make you an offer," He Jin said. "Not as conquerors to the conquered, but as older siblings to younger ones who have shown they are ready for new adventures." Diplomat Hyosung stepped forward. She was a middle-aged human woman with eyes that seemed to hold the wisdom of centuries. "The Federation has achieved something remarkable. 12 different species working together, building something greater than any could accomplish alone. This shows wisdom and maturity." "But we are so far behind you," whispered Dr. Zix Mora. "In some ways, yes," Hyosung agreed. "But you have things we do not have. You have the fresh perspective of people discovering the universe for the first time. You have the creativity that comes from facing real challenges. You have the strength that comes from earning every victory." Science Director Jin-A joined the conversation. She was younger than the others with bright eyes full of excitement. "We want to share our knowledge with you, but not all at once. Too much change too quickly can be harmful. We want to help you learn and grow at your own pace." "What does that mean exactly?" asked Counselor Thexnall. Jin-A smiled. "It means we will start with small improvements to your existing technology. Better engines for your ships, more efficient power sources for your cities, medical advances, to cure diseases that have troubled your people for millennia." She gestured, and the air in the chamber filled with holographic displays showing improved Federation technology. The changes were dramatic but not overwhelming. Ships that could travel faster and more safely, energy systems that could power entire worlds without pollution, medical devices that could heal injuries and illnesses thought impossible to cure. "These improvements build on what you already know," Jin-A explained. "You will understand how they work because they use principles your scientists have already discovered. You will be able to build them with your existing factories and materials." Dr. Zixmora's tentacles waved with excitement. "You would really share this with us?" "We want to share much more than this," said Cultural Exchange Coordinator So Jin, stepping forward. Technology is just the beginning. We want to share art, music, literature, philosophy, and ways of thinking about the universe that might interest you. The displays changed, showing examples of human culture developed over hundreds of thousands of years. Music that seemed to paint colors in the air, sculptures that existed in multiple dimensions at once, stories that changed based on who was reading them, philosophy that explored questions the Federation had never thought to ask. "Your cultures are beautiful," Sojin said, looking at each Federation representative. The Veltar's crystal harmonies, the Brakton's warrior poetry, the Drentar's living architecture. "We have been studying and admiring your achievements for so long. Now we can finally appreciate them together." Admiral Young-ho, the human military commander, addressed Admiral Korth directly. "Your Federation's defense forces show excellent tactical thinking and remarkable cooperation between species. With some improvements to your equipment and training, you could become one of the finest military organizations in the galaxy." "For what purpose?" Korth asked. "If you humans can defeat any enemy so easily, why do you need soldiers?" Young-ho's expression became serious. "Because the galaxy is much larger and more dangerous than you know. Beyond your current territory, there are threats that even we find challenging. Dark entities from other dimensions, machine intelligences gone mad, cosmic forces that can devour entire star systems." The Federation leaders felt a chill of new fear. "We have been protecting this region of space from such dangers for hundreds of thousands of years," Young-ho continued. "But we could use help. Partners who understand the value of defending innocent life. Allies who know how to work together, despite their differences." "You want us to help you protect the galaxy?" Velthara asked in wonder. "We want you to help us explore it," said Admiral Young-ho. "Defense is just one part of the job. There are entire galaxies beyond this one filled with wonders we have not yet discovered. There are forms of life we have never encountered, types of beauty we have never seen, questions we have never thought to ask." Philosopher Dongwu spoke for the first time. He was an elderly human with a calm presence that seemed to make everyone feel peaceful. "The greatest gift we can offer you is not our technology or our knowledge. It is the opportunity to grow beyond what you thought was possible." "What do you mean?" asked Counselor Thexnell. "For 400,000 years, your species have struggled with scarcity," Dongwu explained. "You fought wars over resources, competed for territory, worried about survival. These struggles made you strong, but they also limited your thinking." The displays changed again, showing Federation worlds transformed by human-guided improvements. Planets where deserts had become gardens, cities where no one went hungry or homeless, societies where every person had the chance to pursue their dreams without fear. When survival is no longer a concern, when every person has what they need, what do you do with your time? Dongwu asked. You discover who you really are. You explore questions that matter beyond mere existence. You create beauty for its own sake. You grow in ways that scarcity never allowed. Dr. Rinta, who had been silent since her invasion plan failed, finally spoke. This sounds like paradise. Not paradise, Dongwu corrected gently. Paradise is boring, this is opportunity. Freedom to face bigger challenges, ask deeper questions, and become more than you ever imagined possible. Galactic Coordinator Tae Young stepped forward. He seemed to be the leader among the humans, though his authority felt more like guidance than command. The choice is yours, Tae Young said to the Federation leaders. We can return to our underground cities and let you continue, as you have been. Or we can work together to transform this galaxy into something neither of us could achieve alone. And if we choose to work with you? Velthara asked. Then we begin slowly, Tae Young replied. We start with the improvements Director Jin A showed you. We establish cultural exchange programs. We begin joint exploration missions to nearby star systems. We take time to learn about each other as people, not just as civilizations. You would really trust us with advanced technology? Admiral Korth asked suspiciously. Trust is earned through time and experience, Tae Young said. We will share what you are ready to handle, and we will be there to help when you need guidance. just as parents help their children learn to walk without falling. The Federation leaders looked at each other. Slowly, understanding began to replace fear in their eyes. "We have been thinking of you as conquerors," Velthara said quietly, "but you are offering to be teachers." "We are offering to be friends," Taeyong corrected. "The best kind of friends, the kind who help each other become better than they were before." Dr. Zixmora raised her tentacles in the Veltar gesture of acceptance. "On behalf of my species, I agree to this partnership." One by one, the other Federation representatives made the same choice. Admiral Korth was the last to decide, but eventually even he nodded his agreement. "Then let us begin," Taeyong said with a smile. "The galaxy is very large, and we have much to explore together." As the humans faded from view, the Federation leaders sat in their chamber with a new understanding. The greatest shock was not that humanity had awakened, or that their technology was so advanced, or even that they had been quietly protecting the galaxy for hundreds of millennia. The greatest shock was that humanity's power was matched by their kindness. They could have ruled as gods, but instead chose to serve as guardians. They could have enslaved the galaxy, but instead offered partnership. The Federation had expected to be crushed. Instead, they had been invited to grow beyond anything they had ever dreamed possible. Outside the chamber windows, the first human ships were arriving at Federation worlds, carrying gifts of knowledge, art, and hope for a future brighter than any species had dared to imagine. The age of the Federation was ending. The age of the Galactic Alliance was about to begin.